Hello everyone, welcome to Data Science with Partha. In today's video, we will discuss the argmax, argsort and the asfreq methods. We will continue using our iris dataset for our example. I'll be loading the dataset. Okay, so the first method is the argmax method, which is short for the maximum argument. It returns the location number of the maximum value in the series. Let's take an example and understand this. Suppose we have the series. Let's say I pick this term my series as the variable. We write p dot series. Let's give the numbers to 40 and 20. So this is my series. Now if we apply the argmax method on the series, so if we say my series dot argmax, and suppose we run this, you will see that Python is saying that the value is 2. So by this output of 2, it means that the location where we can get the maximum value is indicated in our output. So that means the maximum value, as we can see in the series, is the location number 2. So 0, 1, 2, 40 is the maximum number possible, and hence the value of 2 is assigned to us. Now, suppose I want to figure out what exactly is the value. So let's say if we had not seen the series completely, if this was a bigger set of numbers, and now by running argmax, we are only getting the text location. So if I wanted to see the number, all we can do is we can use the filtering method. Inside the braces, I am going to pass in the method again. I'm just copying this. When we run this, you see we can get the output as 40. Next, let's talk about the argsort method. So argsort method is a name which is self-explanatory. That means it's short for argument sorting. So using argsort, you can sort the values in a given particular series. If we say argsort on my series, and if we run this, you can see that in the output we get the index locations. So it has not given us the output of the numbers, but it has given us the order in which the numbers should be. Actually get the numbers sorted in the particular location, then like we performed in argmax, we can perform the exact same operation for argsort. So I'll be saying my series of, like this will pass this particular method. And now we can see that Python has sorted the numbers for us. So the final output that Python is giving us is 1, 2, 20 and 40. It has gone for an increasing order. Now, if you look at the argsort method, so if I just press Ctrl Q over here, you'll see that Python is going to fetch the documentation for us. So here you can see that it is mentioned as access is equal to 0. That means by default, what Python does for us is it's going to do this sorting on a row basis. So here we have the rows 1, 2, 3, 4, and hence this particular axis is equal to 0 is just signifying that if we do not pass any argument inside this By default, it's going to sort the values for us in the row basis in the ascending order. Now, let's talk about the asfreq method. Now, asfreq method is short for the term as frequency. This particular method is used especially for the date time objects. So whenever we find a particular column in a date time format, we can use the asfreq method to convert the data into our required format. Let's take an example and understand this. So let's say we have a date range. I'm going to create a few variables. Let's say I'm going to call this date range, and using pandas I'll be creating the date range. We'll give the start as, let's say, 1/1/2020, and let's give the end. We have end as, let's go for 10/1/2021. The most important one is the freq, that is short for the frequency. So let's say by default, let's give us a value of hourly basis. So here I am saying that between these two dates that we have given in start and end, we want Python to give us a date range in hourly format. So if we execute this, you will see that Python has created a datetime object for us. So if I use this, you can see we have a datetime index, and these many number of values are created for us. Now, let's create a data frame out of this date range. I'm going to call it df, and we have pd.dataframe. Pass in that particular variable we just created, that's date range, and we are going to give it a column. Let's say we are going to give the name of the column as date. Once we run this, you can see we have a data frame df has all these values. So 6553 entries in there, having one column. So if I click on view data frame, you can see we have this particular column created for us. All of them are having entries, and we can see the values are separated by 1 hour each because we had given a frequency of hour. Now, let's give another column and let's give some random data into it. So create a new column called df data, and inside this, using numpy, I'm going to create some random numbers. We'll say p.random.random integers. So we have this standard method for us. And inside this, let's say we give random integers from 0 to 100, and we'll say we have to tell Python exactly how many such numbers we require. That we'll give by giving the size parameter. So inside the size parameter, I'm going to pass in a tuple which says that it is having a length of our date range variable. So what we are doing is we're telling Python to create random integers between 0 and 100, and how many such numbers we require is we require the date range, whatever number we have, 6553, that many number of entries will be created, and this particular new column will be created called data. As soon as we run this, now you can see df or the data frame has two columns. We click this, we have these two columns, date and data. Okay, The next step that I'm going to perform here is we are going to convert the index as our date. The way I'm going to do that is we'll say df.index is equal to df date. And if we run this, now our index values has been converted into the dates. You can see now instead of the number 0, 1, 2, the actual date values have been assigned as the index date. Now once we have that, let's actually drop the date column, because as you can see here, if we print this out, we have the index and we also have the date. This particular number will be a duplicate entry. So now after we have assigned it as the index, we can actually drop this particular column. Let's remove that, and the way we do it is using the drop method. We'll say drop date, and we are going to say in place is equal to true, so that whatever column has been removed will become a permanent change inside this. Finally, we'll say axis is equal to 1 because this is the column name that we are removing. Once we have that, now if I look at data frame, you can see we have the index, we have this one column called data. So using these two things, now let's actually perform certain tasks using the asfreq method. So if I say df.asfreq, and inside this if I say the frequency, let's say we have actually given it hours, but let's say if we convert it into, okay, and as soon as we run this, you can see Python is giving us an output where it has all these entries of the minutes, each index, and one index to the next you will see a difference of 1 minute. One thing you should notice is when we had hourly data with us, we have these numbers assigned, but as soon as we change the frequency to minutes, here these entries will not have any value. So that is the reason it is giving us NaN or not a number. Or if you actually give this data, you will see that this particular column, wherever there is a NaN, that would actually be blank. Okay, this is one example of frequency. Let's say if I say instead of hourly, if I want to convert into, let's say, a weekly data. Here inside the frequency, we'll just change it from minutes to week. Now when we run this, we have the entries but on a weekly basis. Everything gets cumulative and we get the information on a weekly basis. Okay, what I had for you guys in this video. Let me know which method you found the most useful in the comments. And if you like the video, then please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.